That's simple mathematics. You lose the first 3 games of the season. Only 3 teams, only 3 in history have recovered to get to the playoffs.
Yeah, and Dick, the strange thing about these 2 teams is one in the preseason, Art Shell said, this is the best team I've coached as a Los Angeles Raider head coach, and they're 0-2. And for the Denver Broncos, who historically have kind of ridden the arm of John Elway, he's had 3 interceptions, 2 returned for touchdowns, and he admitted to us day before yesterday, look, I got to play 60 minutes. I put it right on my shoulders. My performance has got to be better.
The Broncos, in their 1965 uniforms, will receive the kickoff. The old Oakland Raiders 63 uniforms on display. As Jaeger puts it in play. Spins it deep. Butler by Note, the rookie from Ohio State, but that is Derek Russell, and Derek Russell out of bounds with a flag down. We'll check the flag. A good return by Derek Russell, but a block below the waist apparently against the Broncos is the preliminary signal. And while they sort that out, let's go to the starting lineups. John Elway has this offensive front 5: Zimmerman, Nylander, Wydell, Habib, and Freeman. Leonard Russell, the former Patriot, rushed for 1,000 a year ago. Derek Clark, the rookie from Little Evangel College, replaces Rod Bernstein. Anthony Miller, the former Charger. Mike Pritchard, the ex-Falcon, of the wideouts. Jerry Evans is the only tight end on the roster. Shannon Sharp, while an injured knee is available. Derek Russell is the 3rd wide receiver. So after the penalty, instead of good field position, Elway starts from his 9. This is Leonard Russell. And the big guy at 235 has the speed to turn the corner, and out of bounds after a pickup of 5. The defense for the Los Angeles Raiders, young up front with Howie Long gone and Greg Townsend, Harrison Ball, McLaughlin, and Smith. The backers are Aaron Wallace, Greg Biekert, and Winston Moss. Moss, the defensive captain. McDaniel and Washington at the corners. Hoskins and Anderson, the hitters at safety. When they go to the Pirate, they bring in Mike Jones, a good cover linebacker, and the Pro Bowler Albert Lewis. 2nd and 5. Russell in motion. And Elway, well covered, was his receiver as Leonard Russell was being blanketed by Winston Moss, number 99.
Dick, interesting choice here by Denver. You always look at a screen as a finesse play. And here the Broncos on their 2nd snap try to finesse, and Winston Moss, 99, right out there on Leonard Russell. That's always one of the accusations against the Denver Broncos. They're not a power football team. They're a finesse football team.
Bob Trumper, Shannon Sharp, and he thought he would not play today, is in. He's caught 9 passes playing with a knee brace. He's in the slot right. Elway out of the gun. 3rd and 5. Barely gets it off. Protected well. Sharp can't hang on, and you could see him favoring that leg.
Yeah, he should leave, Dick. No question about it. I think that's the one and only pattern he may run today. He has a brace on his right knee. Hurt it in the opening game against San Diego. Here's Elway really putting the spin on it. And it appeared to me that is normally a catchable ball by Shannon Sharp, but he's worried about his leg.
And that was compounded by the fact he was making his cut on the infield dirt, the baseball alignment, and seemed to have trouble with his footing. Tom Ruin with his punt and kicks it to the sidelines well away from Tim Brown, and that is going to give the Raiders excellent field position. In fact, it appears they're going to start on the Denver side of the 50 all the way down to the 42-yard line. So a big break for the Raiders. Now they mark it closer to the 43 on a 28-yard punt. So here's the Raider offensive set. Big guys are Perry, Wisniewski, the Pro Bowler, Mosbar, Gogan from the Dallas Cowboys, and Wilkerson. Flag is down, by the way, on the punt. Hostetler, who's had trouble. Some say he's got a bad elbow. Ty Montgomery will start with the former 49er fullback Tom Rathman. Tim Brown and Alexander Wright are outside, and Andrew Glover, the tight end. When they go to the 3 wide, it's Rocket Ismail, Brown, and Jet that are the targets of Hostetler. A personal foul, and so what's new on the first couple of plays of the game? We've still got only 55 seconds expired. Gordon McCarter will tell us the story.
Personal foul number 47 receiving team
Donald
during
Frank.
the kick, going out of bounds to block an opponent. 15 yards, first down.
Donald Frank, who played with the Chargers and was traded to the Browns and acquired just recently by the Raiders, trying to make a statement, and it cost his team 15. So instead of being an outstanding position inside the 50, they start from their 42 instead of the Bronco 42. Rathman in motion. Ty Montgomery gets a block from Rathman and is down at the 47. Elijah Alexander, number 58, the linebacker from Kansas State, makes the tackle. Dronette Washington, Williams, and Simon Fletcher, one of the best pass rushers in the NFL. Alan Aldridge, rookie Houston. Carl Mecklenburg signed 2 days before the opening game of the season. Alexander, who just made the tackle. Smith and Crockett at the corners. Atwater and Jones at safety. It's a whole rebuilt deep defense, the Broncos.
Block.
Montgomery again. And he's got close to a first down as he's toppled at the 48-yard line. Steve Atwater from a safety spot with a tackle. 2 runs, first 2 plays for the Raiders. Archell said we've got to run the ball. They only attempted to run 9 times the entire game last week against Seattle.
To tailbacks. The tailbacks only had 9 carries, and Archell said, look, we lost something from the end of training camp to that first week. Said I was very tough on the team during training camp. We practiced very hard, lots in pads, and he said we lost something. But you're right, Dick. They just went away from the run too quickly, and Rathman even said that to us last night. He said, man, you got to commit to the run so that everyone's more comfortable with the blockers around the running back.
And the other advantage is it gives those 5 linemen a chance early in the game to go out and really smack somebody and not be in that passive role that the pass protector has to.
Which is the Raiders' character. Smash you in the mouth.
First down for the Raiders. Rathman in motion. It's Montgomery. Another run and a successful one into the secondary, and a first down at the 33 of the Broncos before Atwater, one of the last orange jerseys, could bring him to the dirt. 15 yards on the play. That's the longest run by a Raider running back this season.
Excellent blocking up front. They split the defensive end and defensive tackle of Denver. Unusual to see Montgomery run from inside the tackles, Dick.
Quarterbacks had all the long runs. That's the longest by a running back. Rathman takes his turn, and Rathman, who had accounted for only 16 yards rushing in 2 games, gets 12 on his first attempt today. Another Raider first down.
And Dick, look who's making the tackles here. The defensive backs. Again, this is a big offensive line. Looks like right now they're just pushing them and shoving them, and Atwater and a corner make the tackle on Tom Rathman. The worst thing you want to have for the defense is fullbacks hammering down on your defensive backs.
3 first downs, all on the ground at the Denver 20. And another run. Montgomery. They string him out. He gets the corner. 10, 5, and out of bounds. Say he stepped out back at about the 7-yard line. 13 more. Kevin Gogan, what a block he threw.
Pulled right out in front of Montgomery. You're going to see Gogan's 66 come around the corner. And Ray Crockett, 39, saying, oh, man, what's coming after? Also, Wisniewski out there, 76. Montgomery bounces it to the outside. All run, all success for the Raiders.
Ty Montgomery, who had only 9 carries, 15 yards in 2 games, has 38 on this opening drive. First and goal at the 7. Harvey Williams, 22, makes his first appearance. Fake to Williams. Underneath, wide open, and the tackle made by Carl Mecklenburg of Tim Brown.
Well, opening drive here, the Denver Broncos defense not stopped anything. They run to get here and now throw. You see Mecklenburg, 77, waiting for Brown to come in. Hostetler and Brown read it perfectly. Nice little completion.
5 yards in the play, second and goal from the 2. Williams and Rathman in the eye behind Hostetler. Williams, and Harvey Williams is right at the goal line. Touchdown.
That's his first as a Raider. This could not have started better for the Raiders, worse for Denver. Again, Nice little bow by Harvey Williams. He chooses not to follow Rathman. Nice move there to avoid the tackle in the backfield. Kind of squirms into the end zone. Who got underneath there to make penetration? Can't really pick up the number, but good job of running by Harvey Williams. Opening drive score. Boy, that always cures a lot of ills, Dick.
Especially when the head coach said, this is what we come to Denver to do, to establish a run. We're going to run it. We have to run it. And his team has answered. Jager kicks the extra point. 10:41 left in the opening period, and the Raiders impressively march to the first score of the game. 7-0. Joining us down on the field, Hannah Storm.
Well, Dick, earlier we saw Shannon Sharp have a problem with this dirt infield that's still here, and you may wonder, since the baseball season was called on Wednesday, why they haven't resodded the Colorado Rockies infield. Sod only takes about 3 days to hold, but they had a Rolling Stones concert here on Thursday night, so they did not have time to sod it. They're going to sod it on Monday, as they are in a couple other stadiums around the league, and some of the Denver players told me they were very disappointed. They said playing on that stuff is like playing on concrete. Dick?
All right, thanks, Hannah. And what a kickoff by Jeff Jager. And Derek Russell takes the kneel and the 20-yard line.
Raiders went down the field like a rolling stone on that opening drive.
Reggie Rivers limps off for Denver.
We mentioned that psychologically the Raiders have the Denver Broncos number. That opening drive it intensifies that psychological edge. We come up here and hit you right in the mouth, and what are you going to do about it, John Elway in Denver?
Elway 3 and out on the opening possession. Good block. And the give is to young Derek Clark, and Clark has 10 yards. The 235-pound rookie from Evangel College, the Crusaders in Springfield, Missouri.
Dick, with big running backs in the backfield, you're gonna see a lot of pulling here by the Denver Broncos to get around this defense. A good lead block by Leonard Russell on the backside, but you see the guard kind of just gets out in the way. Nothing more than that. That's John Melander, and most of that Clark did by himself.
Clark playing for the injured Rod Bernstein. Bernstein with a hamstring. He tried it out today and could not to go with a flag down. And this is Leonard Russell as he's to the short side of the field, run out of bounds. But it appeared that Nolan Harrison had jumped into the neutral zone.
But Dick, already Denver running for the corners, running the sweeps, not going straight at this Raider defense.
Elway will take the 5 yards. Penalties undoubtedly will be part of
Left
this
side,
game.
Number 74, defense, 5 yards, repeat first down.
Raiders right there behind Houston after 2 games this year, and last year led the league in most penalties and most penalty yards. Raiders and Houston, the only 2 teams over 1,000 yards penalized against.
And when these 2 teams play, you need a ring announcer along with the referee.
First and 5. Russell in motion. Elway scrambling. Anthony Smith chasing, and Elway throws it away. He had Pritchard on the near sidelines. And Anthony Smith, the 265-pound defensive end who has 37 sacks in his 50 NFL games, came close to getting another.
But that's a missed assignment on the offensive line. Nobody touched him. He just ran outside the offensive tackle. Little mistakes like that, just a little mistake on the offensive line can get your quarterback in real trouble. This is a great pass rush defensive line the Raiders have.
Anthony Miller, who has more speed, Elway says, than any receiver he's ever thrown to. Timeout. Was wide open on the last play. Elway couldn't find him. Calls time. 9:27 left in the opening quarter. Back at Mile High Stadium, I hope you'll note the next time you see Bob Trumpy on camera that he's worn a tie that he wore in 1965 as part of this 75th anniversary celebration. Leonard Russell can't get outside as he was shirt-tailed by Aaron Wallace and then secured by Beaker. John Elway against the Los Angeles Raiders. And understandably, not as successful as against other teams. At Mile High, he's 4-6, and overall in his career, he's 6-14 against this Raider franchise.
Now that we noticed that they had a banner up at the Broncos practice facility, Raider Week, as if the players had to be reminded.
Russell loses a couple. It's It's a long and Elway gets Chester McLaughlin to jump early, and of course Elway has that hesitation count. And he said, one thing, I'm glad Howie Long isn't here. I had so much trouble getting Long to bite on that count.
Encroachment, number 91 defense, 5 yards, still 3rd down.
That's something that John Elway has used throughout his career, and it drives head coaches crazy because defensive linemen are supposed to be looking at the football.
3 penalties, 25 yards against the Raiders, and it gives Elway now a 3rd and a yard and a half.
Do they go straight at this defense? Do they run to the corner? Key down here. Key play here for the Broncos.
Rivers back in is the H-back, and there's a 1st down yardage just slamming across is Derek Clark. As Elway, that's an interesting call. Goes to the rookie Clark, yes. 3rd and short.
And Leonard Russell as the lead blocker. Clark right behind him. But I like the call because they went right at the defense. Now, the interior of this Raider defensive line with McLaughlin and Jerry Ball, huge. Very hard to move when you run the ball. But you do have to fire at them. It is a 1st down. Again, as you watch this play unfold from behind the defense, Winston Moss fills. Excellent block by Russell. And there's McLaughlin. Just the strength this young man has is scary, Dick. Once he learns how to play defensive tackle, he's going to consume a lot of people from that spot.
All the 1st downs in this game, interestingly, have been by the run. Raiders leading early 7-0. 1st down for Elway. Screens it successfully to Leonard Russell. Russell slips and was down with contact after a gain of maybe a yard or 2. Nolan Harrison and Winston Moss there for the Raiders.
Interesting choice here that Leonard Russell, who carried the ball 300 times last year for the New England Patriots, is used as a receiver on these screens. I mean, again, it's a finesse move. Try to get around this defensive line, slow down the pass rush a little bit. This guy is best when he carries it 20 to 25 times a game. What a find for the Denver Broncos.
That is quite a story. It wasn't just a find, it was a hide. They had to hide him from the Raiders, who wanted him as well as a free agent. Elway, who hasn't gone deep yet, his man wide open, Derek Russell. And Russell is to the 27-yard line. Albert Lewis, the tackler, 31 yards.
Well, this is the arm strength of John Elway. There are not many quarterbacks, and the timing of this new offense with Jim Fossil. Here's the receiver. You see Elway set. As soon as he sets, he's ready to throw, and Russell is by Albert Lewis. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hit, step, throw. You've just got to have so much arm strength and the confidence to get it in there. Denver and John Elway have both.
Denver's deepest penetration, trailing 7-0. The handoff inside, and nothing much there for Leonard. 8-ball Russell, who was a #1 pick of the New England Patriots in '91, was the 14th player selected, in fact.
Dick, again, back to the big pass reception. 3 wide receivers set. You see Russell with an excellent move by Albert Lewis. And boy, Elway just, I don't think there's anybody in the game who can throw it that hard, that accurately. Puts it right in the hands of Derek Russell for a big 1st down pickup.
2nd and 9. Elway guns. Is it caught? Yes. Russell digging that. No, now they say he trapped it. A late call. Russell down low to try to pick it off the grass. 3rd and 9.
Dick, I couldn't really see the reception. You had defenders closing on the receiver. Well, it does hit the ground. There's no question about that. It appears to be a good call. So now a big, see if we can see any other part of the ball hit the ground. Albert Lewis just got his hand in there, and it is on the ground. Excellent call.
6 defensive backs for the Raiders. Elway has it knocked right back into his lap. Almost caught his own pass as it was blocked apparently by Andre Bruce coming in from the left side.
Only got a little penetration, but then he gets up in the air. He's on Russell Freeman, 68. 56 is right there. He's reading the quarterback's eyes, hit him right in the arm. Good defensive play by the Los Angeles Raiders.
So it'll be a 44-yard attempt. Jeff Campbell, the wide receiver, to hold for Jason Elam, who is a perfect 5 for 5 on the young season. A man who played at the University of Hawaii. He is 6 for 6. 43 yards officially, and with 5:35 left in the opening quarter. Elam's 43-yard field goal. He's going to kick it off. Deep to return. Rocket Ismail and Harvey Williams. Rocket, the feared returner. So they kick it the other way toward Harvey Williams at the 10. 20. Runs into his own men at the 30, and down at the 31, Reggie Rivers made the tackle. Wade Phillips, the son of Bum, looking for his first win of 94. He has brought in a lot of talent offensively and has had to rebuild defensively. Only 3 starters from last year on defense at this point of the Broncos season. Another big hole on the running game. Simon Fletcher makes the stop after a pickup of about 4 last week against Seattle. First half, 35 plays, 28 were either passes or scrambles by Haas. Today in the first drive, 6 rushes, 1 pass, and they gained 53 of the 58 yards on the ground.
You can see how poorly the Los Angeles Raiders have rushed the ball as a team. The rest of those players, individuals, including one Marcus Allen of the Chiefs.
Second down, 6. Hostetler deep, and Ty Montgomery is on his way for a Raider touchdown. 65 yards. Hostetler had the Broncos thinking he was going to keep the ball and scramble forward, and right at the line of scrimmage finds Montgomery wide open.
Here's Montgomery. He runs a little circle route. Everybody drops him. Nobody pays attention to Montgomery. When Hostetler looks off the first and second receiver, you see the linebacker jump inside. Now, these are young linebackers that you just mentioned on that defense. Elijah Alexander was the guy who was supposed to be with Montgomery. Didn't come close.
Jager adds the extra point. And with 4:38 left in the opening quarter, the Raiders lead. It's 14-3. Denver down to the Raiders, and Jager again rooting that one deep into the end zone for the touchback to Derek Russell.
Excuse me, Charlie Waters was just talking to Steve Atwater. Atwater is here. Again, here is Montgomery. We got man coverage, and the free safety sets over here, and the linebacker, because of the scramble, just loses track of Montgomery. Again, I'm going to blame this on inexperience. There isn't a lot of time together. And Montgomery is wide open. Hostetler does a great job. Rondell Jones can't catch up with Ty Montgomery. And that's that big play that Art Shell was talking about last night. One play, big play, and we're fixed.
Well, he wanted to run. He wanted the big play, and he's gotten them before the first quarter is over. Now it's Elway trying to play catch-up. 14-3, in trouble. Rips his way loose for a moment, and then is sacked at the 15-yard line, and then a Raider comes in on his back. Chester McLaughlin was the man who just would not let go. Nolan Harrison there as well.
Rick, so far, Broncos playing straight to the Raiders' strength. And that is down 14-3. You get in a pass rush situation for the Raiders, pass protection for the Denver Broncos, and now you've got your franchise player. There's Jim Fossil, the offensive coordinator. Your franchise player, John Elway, in jeopardy.
When Milburn comes in, he's in the backfield behind Elway. 6 DBs on 2nd and 15. They give to Milburn. And not much there at all. A couple of yards into the dirt and into the grass. Nolan Harrison and Aaron Wallace on the stop.
Raiders can play with a lot of people on 3rd and long because of this young defensive line. McLaughlin is a decent pass rusher, but Harrison and Anthony Smith on the outside can really wreak havoc on a quarterback or pass protection. And now Denver's got to be very careful. Protect that football. Don't turn it over here.
3rd and a long 12. Elway shotgun. 4 wideouts. And Shannon Sharp is in the game. Elway goes wide open is Anthony Miller, but he misses him. Miller Miller was 12 yards beyond the nearest white jersey, but Elway overshot him. And remember yesterday, John said Miller is one of the few guys I've ever had to think, gee, I got to throw it as hard as I can because he can run and catch everything.
You're going to watch the safety. Here's the receiver. You're going to watch the safety hesitate back here. Elway reads it perfectly, and Miller goes right by the safety. See, the safety bites on the crossing pattern by the guy underneath. Huge mistake. Boy, he'd love to have that one back. Elway doesn't miss many like that.
Tom Ruin to the 31, and it's Tim Brown after an 8-yard return, tackled at the 39. 51 yards on the punt. So with 3 minutes left in this first quarter, the Raiders have the ball again. Earlier today, Miami makes it 3-0, 28-14. Another good day for Marino, and Minnesota wallops the Bears in Chicago. And those two teams will meet in our early game of the doubleheader next week. Miami and Minnesota. And there are the late games: New England, Detroit, San Diego Raiders, Cincinnati, Houston, Chicago getting a Midwest doubleheader. Ty Montgomery outside again and tripped up at the 47 and a flag down and thrown right at the feet of number 71 Gerald Perry, the ex-Bronco, playing tackle for the Raiders, holding.
And there's no question that their choice, the Raiders' choice, is to run at Simon Fletcher. Fletcher is not a big defensive end, and he's now playing with his hand down on the ground as a true defensive end.
Holding, 71 offense, 10 yards, repeat first down.
There's the man blocking Simon Fletcher. Last year he was up. There's almost a 70-pound difference between defensive end and offensive tackle. And Fletcher is not going to win many of those situations on a straight run block. He only an offensive tackle.
They only penalized the Raiders 8 yards on the play to the 31. The line of scrimmage was the 39. The spot of the foul, I guess, 2 yards beyond the line of scrimmage. Tackle by Alexander as Rathman gets to the 36-yard line. But something that the Raider fans have had little chance to cheer any running game at all has become quite evident here at Mile High Stadium. They feel they can run on Denver, and until the Broncos come up with some defense that stops them, then the Raiders are going to have quite a party. They lead 14-3 already.
And when you're 0-2, all you need is something to boost your confidence in the early stages of the game. The Raiders have gotten that boost.
62 yards already. That's about what they've been averaging. And there's going to be a penalty on the Broncos. A free play for Hostetler. Goes up on top, incomplete at the 35 of Denver. Ben Smith covering Tim Brown. But it appeared a Bronco was in the neutral zone.
Offside, 73 defense, 5 yards, repeat second down.
I think he's got the wrong defensive end, but let's see if we can pick up any movement from the tackle. Yeah, there's a little rocking back there by Wilkerson, 68. And I don't believe that's Simon Fletcher that was in there, but the penalty does stand.
Simon Fletcher, probably the best NFL lineman going that has not made it to the Pro Bowl. He's right with Reggie White in sacks the last 5 years. No one will vote for him. Hostetler underneath, rocked by Tom Rathman over the middle. Carl Mecklenburg on the coverage. Richard Harvey was there as well.
Rathman on the little circle route out of the backfield. It appears to me that what the Raiders are doing right now is trying to suck a lot of people up to the line of scrimmage, and then they can utilize all that great speed on the outside. Throws underneath, running the ball very well. It keeps linebackers and safeties close to the line of scrimmage, makes that deep stuff work, Dick.
3rd and 8. Raiders go with the 3 wide out with Montgomery in the backfield and Tim Brown in the backfield. Hostetler guns. Underneath the Darrell Hobbs and a first down at the 45 of Denver. Elijah Alexander makes the tackle. 14 yards in the play. Nothing wrong with the elbow on that throw.
And Dick, also look at the protection here. Denver only rushes 4 guys, but Hostetler did a great job. Look to the left, set through. Elbow looked fine there. Hobbs, a guy who came off the practice squad. Last year he was playing the opponent's quarterback in the practice squad. And Freddie Bolitnikoff had him working on the speed bag that boxers use to get his hand and eye coordination better. Excellent receiver.
Had a tremendous preseason, led the Raiders in catches. That's his third of the regular season. Harvey Williams caught, spins, still on his feet. What an effort. He gained about a yard, but should have lost 5, and the fans aren't happy.
Dick, again, they're running at Simon Fletcher, and what they're not happy with here is arm tackling. Lead block by Tom Rathman. Gogan pulls. Let's see how many arms he goes through. There's one. Crockett. 90 Williams finally drags him. No, he doesn't drag him down. Rondell Jones finally gets a arm on him. That's very poor tackling by Denver.
Yeah, the 5th defender finally got him out of bounds. Gain of 2. Going long, but only orange jerseys there as Hostetler saw his man double covered. Rocket Ismail, Rondell Jones, and Ben Smith.
Look, he's up. He hasn't been on the ground yet today. Very unusual for Hostetler. Sacked 50 times last year. Banged all over the place this year.
9 times this year.
And that little bit of running to start the game has now slowed down the pass rush of the Denver Broncos.
9 times the Raider quarterbacks have been sacked. Hostetler 4 times. And after the early games, the Raiders 3rd in most times their quarterback sacked. They were 2nd last year. 3rd and 8 for Haas. Under pressure, and it's Tim Brown in the open. Breaking a tackle. 15, 10, touchdown! yards. Hostetler to Tim Brown, and Brown with some fancy running after the catch.
Oh, the Broncos come with a blitz. There's man-to-man coverage. Hilliard on Tim Brown. And man, the Raiders just tear that man-to-man coverage up. Goodness.
Hostetler talked about hitting his receivers underneath on the run. And there's a classic example. Tim Brown over the middle runs that pattern as well as anyone. Jeff Jager just does squeeze in the extra point, but a flag down. So 3 possessions for the Raiders and 3 almost routine touchdowns. I mean, just seemed to be nothing defending against.
Yeah, they've gone down the field easily. It doesn't work this good in practice. Denver has offered very little resistance to this point. And this was Jordan McCarter.
Personal foul, illegal leverage by the defensive lineman, number 91, during the try for a point. The point is good, 15 yards on the kickoff.
So it just gets worse for Wade Phillips.
Yeah, this was his major concern, that all of a sudden it would get out of hand. But on that scoring play, Raiders come with the tandem, and here are the 2 guys in coverage. When the blitz comes, free safety, then it's Tim Brown here with Randy Hilliard trying to run behind him. And Hostetler does a great job of finding Brown underneath, and then Brown just outruns. Again, poor tackling by Randy Hilliard. And Brown down the sideline, a little assist from one of the receivers. A nice little block gets him in the end zone.
Rondell Jones just playing tag down there as if he wasn't very interested. So the fans booing the ease with which the Raiders have piled up a 21-3 score with 15 seconds left in the opening quarter, but also the effort by the defense. It hasn't been very inspired. They're not those shoulder tackles, but a lot of arms and reaches. And
Dick, it is seldom in the last 15 or 18 years you've been in this stadium and heard it this quiet.
Or as many boos as were just evidenced on the touchdown to Brown.
There's the defensive coordinator. He said to us the other day, we are under siege.
Well, he's playing without 2 starting linebackers, in fairness to Charlie Waters. Mike Kroll is injured and Dave Wyman injured, so they've had to make make some changes. In fact, Carl Mecklenburg, who many thought might not even be with the Broncos this year, signed 2 days before the opener. Boy, is Jaker ever, well, in this case, after the 15-yard penalty from the 45, easily boots it out of the end zone. And from the 20 again, John Elway. And now for the Broncos, the test will be if Elway can keep things under control and play this series as if the score were even. And the tendency now is for everyone to try to hurry up and make the big play, and it's not necessarily there.
But, Dick, having been in that situation, you can't do that, because now you've got a defense standing on the other side of the field that has not played poorly in the first 2 games, but not played well. And they've got a sucker over there, and we're going to take it out, those 2 losses on the Denver Broncos.
10 seconds left in the quarter. Elway over the middle, throws behind Mike Pritchard, incomplete. So Elway now is 1 for 8 in this first quarter. The 1 pass complete to Russell, 31 yards.
And of course, he's now going to have to go back there and throw almost every down to get back in this football game. That's not what Jim Fossil, the offensive coordinator, John Elway, or Wade Phillips, any one of them had in mind. Denver needs balance because they need to keep their defense off the field.
Anthony Miller with all the speed to the top of the screen. Elway has to throw it away.
Half roll away from the pass rush.
Oh, with a chorus of 76,000 booing the home team. That's the end of the quarter. Dick Enberg at Mile High Stadium. Welcome back. Start of the second quarter. John Elway with a long march back to the other end, and the ball is spotted at the 9-yard line because on the play that ended the first quarter, Elway ruled to have thrown the ball out of bounds well behind the line of scrimmage. That's a foul, illegally grounding the ball. And they marked the ball at the spot of the foul since it was more than 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage. And throwing it away, he has to at least get it near or beyond the line of scrimmage. And that was particularly deep behind that line of scrimmage. And the flag went down, and the penalty goes also a double hit because it's loss of down.
I have a feeling the Denver Broncos, if the game continues like this, will never see those orange helmets again.
They wear blue in the 1994 mode.
I noticed the star in the eye of that Bronco on that orange helmet. That's exactly the way the Broncos are presently playing.
In the comics, when you're knocked out, that's right. The eyes are stars. Didn't know that you got that deep into the newspapers on Sunday morning. Elway, third and a bundle going for Anthony Miller. And Miller had it for a moment. A remarkable job by Miller at the 40 of the Raiders to shield Lionel Washington, and had a decent shot at pulling that one in.
Anthony Miller is a strong individual. This was a strong throw by Elway. Washington, stride for stride, sees the ball. Boy, he just pulls his arms right away from the football.
Elway had that one in the air about 60 yards.
Well, that was a desperation throw, too.
Now, Ruin has to punt from around his own goal line with Tim Brown licking his chops at midfield. Toward the sideline. No, it's Brown at the 50.
Oh, he's got a chance.
He's got some blockers. And finally tripped up at the 35. 15 on the return. Richard Harvey got the tackle. Timeout. 21-3 LA. A lot of meetings along the Denver sidelines. Jim Fossil, the offensive coordinator, talking with Elway. Meanwhile, Jeff Hostetler ready to go work just outside the Denver 35. A short drive to a possible addition to a 21-3 lead. Harvey Williams. Get after 2, maybe 3. Richard Harvey, and Ben Smith comes up from the corner, the ex-Eagle, to make the stop.
Williams wants the opportunity to be that other running back for the Los Angeles Raiders. Felt like when he was at Kansas City, he wasn't really treated completely fairly by Marty Schottenheimer, but Harvey Williams is going to have to share some time with Ty Montgomery, but wants him to gain confidence in his ability to carry the ball.
to Williams. Hostetler, a ton of time. And throws it away. Williams on the near sidelines. Rocket Ismail had slipped down at the 23-yard line.
Yeah, that's footing. There's
Ben Smith was in on the coverage. Smith is more than a number for the Denver Broncos. From the University of Georgia, #1 pick in 1990, and acquired by trade this year. And many said this man would never, ever play this game again.
2 knee reconstructions, out for 2 years.
Hostetler on third. Underneath he goes to the tight end, Andrew Glover, and Glover battles his way inside the 25 and a first down. Just to complete the story on Ben Smith, it would have been very easy for him having reconstructive surgery and something went wrong. They had to go back in and reconstruct it again. Could have taken the insurance, might even have been a lawsuit involved, but he elected to go through 2 years of all that hard work to prove that he could still compete.
Yeah, Eagles wanted him to move to free safety. He said, no, I can still play corner. And he's playing corner for the Denver Broncos, although nobody for the Denver Broncos is playing well today.
First down at the 24. Harvey Williams, good size hole. Down to the 19, a pickup of 5 on first down. Elijah Alfred Alexander III. Number 58 at linebacker makes the stop. So this huge crowd of 76,000, the 190th consecutive sellout in Denver. Stunned by the success of the Los Angeles Raiders. The Raiders, who had scored only 23 points total in 2 games, lowest in the NFL, are in position to hit more than that very early in the second quarter.
Well, there's a lot of sour looks on that Denver sideline, Dick.
2nd and 5. Williams, look at the blocking. Gogan again out in front. Carl Mecklenburg makes the stop. It's just shy of the first down, going to be close. 3rd and less than a yard.
You saw Kevin Gogan there told us last night that when he blocked for Emmitt Smith with the Dallas Cowboys, all Emmitt wanted was movement. Just get in front of him and stay in front of him. Here with the Los Angeles Raiders, he said, we blocked to clear a hole. So it's been quite a change for him. A lot more pulling for a guy who is 6'7", 312 pounds. A lot of yardage out there for Kevin Gogan every week.
3rd and short, and Hostetler looking for a big play. Underneath to the tight end, backup tight end Kevin Smith, his first NFL catch and a first down inside the 10. Kevin Smith, whose dad Charlie Smith, remember him, the running back, number 23 of the Oakland Raiders, 68 through 74.
Good play action fake by Jeff Hostetler, Dronette in his face, 99, but Kevin Smith, he's got better hands than his dad had. His dad was a receiver in college at Utah with me. Raiders made him a running back. He was an excellent running back, but not a great receiver. Kevin appears to be a natural receiver.
Well, he was a running back at UCLA, and they've converted him to tight end, something that the Raiders have done through the years. 1st and goal, and for the first time, they stuff the run. Harvey Williams gets 0.
Yeah, but Dick, they had to do it with the strong safety, Steve Atwater, up there at the line of scrimmage. That's what's going to happen now. Denver is going to have to commit more people to stop the run. You'll see Atwater come right there, 27. Now when they've got 7 guys up to the line of scrimmage, that makes that deep passing game, that vertical game, work that much better for the Raiders.
2nd and goal just inside the 8.
Split back, should throw.
Jet and Ismail to the left. Hostetler wide open, incomplete. Oh my, Ray Crockett at the last minute with a dive to deny Rocket Ismail, who was wide open in the back of the end zone.
And you're going to see the matchup. It's man-to-man. Crockett has that cast on his hand, although it's a little smaller cast, but you're right. Hostetler a little late in throwing that ball. Couldn't quite find him quick enough. He's looking all over the place. Just slightly behind the receiver, allows Crockett to get that cast on the ball and knock it away.
3rd and goal. Just that close. A Crockett fingernail from 28 to 3. Timeout, Hostetler. 1-3. 3rd and goal. 8-yard line. And the Broncos need a stop. Force at least the field goal attempt. Hobbs is in. He's to the right. Brown slotted right. Ismail far left. Brown in motion.
Oh, he's wide open.
And touchdown to the tight end Glover.
Well, there were 2 receivers wide open, Dick. Hostetler had his choice. He took Glover, but Ty Montgomery uncovered in the end zone.
Jeff Hostetler's 3rd touchdown pass of the first half, as the Raiders have scored more already than the entire total of the first 2 games.
There were 6 defensive backs in the ball game for the Denver Broncos, and how 6 could not cover 2 receivers is beyond me. But 2 were wide open.
Try for point by Jaeger. 28-3 Los Angeles. The Raiders have awakened. Andrew Glover with his first touchdown of the season. Former basketball star at Grambling. And Charlie Waters trying to figure up something to stop Los Angeles.
Watch this. This is Ty Montgomery. He does not get the ball. Here is Glover. He gets the ball. Now look at both of those guys and how open they are, especially Montgomery, bottom of the screen. No one out there, but he chooses the guy in the end zone. Glover, Rondell Jones, 31, closest. But that is a total breakdown in the coverage for the Denver Broncos. This is, Charlie Waters is watching this with binoculars.
That was after the play. Charlie told us in our visit that he was concerned. He said a lot of changes on defense. They've got, of course, 2 new cornerbacks. Dennis Smith is no longer there at a safety spot. Atwater's moved from free to strong safety. Right. Only his 2nd game there.
Fletcher's down as a defensive end. Mecklenburg, as you said earlier, wasn't going to be there, is now there. And last week was Rondell Jones, 31's first NFL start. So they're taking a heck of a chance with this defense and its youth and inexperience. And the Raiders have taken advantage of it in this first half.
San Diego scored 37 to come from behind and win the opener here, 37-34, and then Denver lost at the New York Jets in overtime last week, 25-22. The defense played better last week. Jaeger hits a low ball into the wedge, picked up by the rookie, and young Derek Clark is out across the 40 to the 42-yard line. Jaeger slipping on the dirt infield as he delivered his kick. But today things have changed. Elway, that receiver covered, now has to scramble, dumps it, and Leonard Russell gains only a yard or 2 as he's hit by Albert Lewis. And Lewis, who was knocked out in the game against Seattle last Sunday at the Coliseum when teammate Eddie Anderson just crushed him in the side of the helmet as the 2 were trying to make a tackle, and Lewis gets up a bit slowly.
He was knocked cold last week. Didn't remember anyone talking to him at all.
And as bad as that second half was for the Raiders, he was the one guy that benefited.
Yes.
They were kidding. Raiders second half last week as bad as the Broncos first half this. Elway hits his tight end. Jerry Evans' first catch of the season. Winston Moss runs him out of bounds. First down in Raider territory. 14 on the play.
Now it looks like the Raiders are saying, look, 28-3, we're in no hurry. You're not going to get the big play. We're going to play zone, keep receivers in front of us. Let the clock be our friend here. Elway does not look comfortable in the pocket today. He's quick to move out and move around, Dick.
From the shotgun at the 44, he has Milburn to his left and Russell on his right side. Incomplete to Derek Russell. And he was covered by James Trapp.
Again, quick out of the pocket.
You look at the other scores, and the 2 unbeaten teams, surprisingly so early in this 94 season, the Chargers and Seattle are 3-all. Casey and Carney exchanging field goals in the second quarter. And Chris Warren, apparently an elbow injury being x-rayed. That could be serious news for Seattle, and that's part of our big doubleheader next Sunday.
I wouldn't have predicted that those two teams would be 2-0. These two teams would be 0-2.
Elway way over the mark. Oh, looked like it was to Milburn, but it went to Miller a little shy, and a flag is down. Should this game continue to be an overmatch with the Raiders dominating, we will switch many of you watching to that Seattle-San Diego game. We, of course, by NFL contract, will stay in the Denver and Los Angeles markets. Call against the Raiders for a defensive check and automatic first down at the 39, 5-yard penalty.
That check was past the 5-yard limit. But again, saw that pass. There were two receivers very close to it, Miller and also Milburn. The offense here of Denver just doesn't look in sync at all.
Elway 4 for 14. Give it to the youngster, Derek Clark. Wrestled down after very little yardage. Rob Fredrickson, the #1 Raider draft pick out of Michigan State, making the stop.
This is a situation where at 28-3, the offensive coordinator can't make the right call unless it's a touchdown. I mean, you're to the point now where you can't set up a defense for something in the near future. And Jim Fossil has got his first 12 plays laid out there, but he's to game plan C already. None of that is going to work.
Pritchard looking for his first catch in motion. He's had 2 big games prior to today. Elway. Caught from behind by Mike Jones. There was a time when Jones would not have been able to get on the heels of Elway, but he's lost a step, and Jones tackles him after a short gain.
And as a matter of fact, John Elway has, over the last year and a half or so, begun to throw the ball away. And when he gets hit here, looks like Jones kind of grabs his ankle, and he limped back to the huddle, Dick. It's bad enough to be down 28-3, but you don't want to lose John Elway for an extended period of time. Left ankle he's favoring there.
3rd and 5. And there's a flag down. Elway hit from behind. He knew it was coming. Milburn left early, and the tackle
that was amazing,
made by Eddie Anderson, who came on a safety blitz.
He went by him and came back. It was Milburn who moved, number 22.
And Raiders undoubtedly will take the sack, the second of this half.
Illegal motion, left setback, penalty decline, 4th down.
Seldom you see a blitz work this good. This is Eddie Anderson coming here. He misses Elway on the first time. Elway does a good job of avoiding it. Then nobody open downfield. Anderson on the ground, gets up, makes the sack.
So the drive halts at the 40, and Ruin into punt unless this is a fake. 28-3 the Raiders. Brown at his 10. Now Reggie Rivers walking around with it. Doesn't have enough men out there. Here comes the 11th man. Oh my. This is a very discouraging first half for Wade Phillips' team and the fans of the Broncos. They're going to take the delay of game, which doesn't hurt them. Back to the 45 if indeed the Raiders don't decline, and they're going to say now make them kick it short.
Delay of game, offense. The penalty yardage of 5 yards is declined. It is still 4th down at this spot.
Well, if they could, at halftime they'd change from these orange uniforms back to their, to their regular
Blame it on
uniforms.
something, huh?
Absolutely. It can't be us, Dick.
Tim Brown awaits Ruin's punt. He'll try to pooch it down. It's a beauty. That's going to go well through the end zone, not close to the sidelines. And so that amounts to a 20-yard kick net. Timeout. 28-3, and the Raiders have it again. Let's go to Hannah Storm.
Well, it certainly appeared as if John Elway twisted his ankle on that last series, Dick. However, it's not serious. In fact, he's not even receiving treatment. He's simply trying to walk it off, and he'll be right back in the game. Dick?
All right, thanks, Hannah. Ty Montgomery on the sweep, tackled for a loss. Steve Atwater, again from his safety spot, coming up to make the hit.
And again, Denver now coming up with more people. And here's Montgomery. He'll be there. Here's the lead play. You got guards pulling, and here's Atwater coming up. But Denver is committing more people to the line of scrimmage to try to stop the run. And that just plays into the hands of the Raiders. Again, if the Raiders don't turn the ball over to the Denver Broncos here, this game is, for all intents and purposes, done. Over.
Hostetler hit as he throws, finds his tight end, and Glover carrying tacklers with him. And Rondell Jones comes up to finally secure it as Atwater was trying to drag him down. Glover is a load at 6'6" and 245, first down.
Basketball player in college, also a track athlete in college. And the Raiders use their tight ends more as receivers than they do blockers. Atwater, of course, not used to tight end coverage. Just his second game at strong safety. That's the spot that Dennis Smith used to play. And there is pressure on Hostetler. Well, Mecklenburg down to his feet, but first time we've seen Hostetler on the ground today, Dick.
From the Raider 40. Up and out to Rathman, all alone in the flat. Nice cut by the former Nebraska star, and he's to the 48. A gain of 8 more.
For most football games, the defense sets the tone for the game. And we've seen nothing but poor tackling by the Denver Broncos today. And they're another missed tackle. And it's amazing that Charlie Waters realizes what's going on. Oh, look at that.
257. That's almost a game total for the Raiders earlier. They're taking it out with a vengeance on this Denver team.
They're not going to slow down either, Dick.
The first down and more. Hardly touched. Ty Montgomery, who slides down to the 43-yard line. Trying to take a quick look back through their past seasons, the Broncos, and the last game I can find where they really were belted around at home. You have to go way back in the Dan Reeves era. 7 seasons, 8 seasons, 87 seasons. Houston Oilers won here 40-10 in early October. Meanwhile, Dan Reeves, of course, had been minded. Wade Phillips, that he's 2-0 in New York, and the Giants are leading by a touchdown today.
Yeah, there's baggage everywhere, no matter where you go. Good baggage and bad baggage.
Hostetler. Rathman alone again. Good block. See Tim Brown come out there to throw a nice little block, and then a good tackle made by Richard Harvey, the former Buffalo Bill, and Ben Smith.
But Dick, this Raider offense is not a particularly sophisticated offense. But how many times in this first half have we seen receivers wide open, not open, wide open? And when you change almost your entire defensive personnel in one off season, you're going to have situations like this. They didn't expect to be 0-2 facing 0-3 here, but they were willing to invest on the offensive side of the ball and hope the defense caught up. It has not.
And back to that 40-10 game, that was a replacement game. That's right, that was the strike year. So you really have to hang. Hostetler finally is sacked by Elijah Alexander. Dan Williams following up on the sack by Alexander, and Haas thought that was unnecessary.
Broncos don't have much choice, Dick. They got to take chances, come with a blitz, try to get the turnover to somehow get back in this football game. Alexander, 58 from the outside. Nobody touches him. And then 90, Dan Williams. Yeah, that's up to the referee to call that flag. The referee standing back there to do one thing, protect the quarterback. Maybe he should have thrown it.
Hostetler calls timeout, a 10-yard loss. 2 minutes, 42 seconds remaining in the opening half. It's all Los Angeles. Ticking down toward the end of the first half, and the Raiders offense certainly feeling much better about itself, and Wade Phillips Broncos not much to go in and praise after the first 30 minutes, and the Raiders trying to get more. This is 3rd and 12 from the Denver 46. And it starts with Bronette, no flag down. Hostetler wide open. Hobbs And no, he was out of bounds is the call. Crockett on the coverage. That would have been enough for a first down.
It appeared he got 1 foot down in bounds, could not get the second. Left foot makes contact. No, the first one was out too.
It's one of the few misses by Hostetler in this half. 3 touchdown passes, 65 yards to Ty Montgomery, 43 to Tim Brown.
Yeah, I think when he has good protection, they can run the ball. His elbow feels a lot better, Dick.
That's right. 7 to tight end Glover. Ooh, nearly blocked. Gossett nails the end zone, so it'll be the touchback at the 20. Ben Smith was the man trying to block the punt.
2:29 to go. Denver has thrown a shoe here in this first half.
They've got 2 timeouts. Certainly a touchdown would boost something.
They got to go with the hurry-up offense here. Try to get something. You're right.
6 defensive backs facing Elway. He throws way away from Shannon Sharp, and Sharp obviously not at full speed, carrying that heavy brace.
Great players are bad, very bad patients. And Shannon Sharp should not be out there playing. He knows the situation the team's in 0-2 playing a Raiders division game. I want to contribute. But at some point, you hurt your team more than you help it.
81 catches a year ago. The younger brother of Sterling of Green Bay. 2nd and 10. Underneath to Milburn. Good move. Good move. And the young man from Stanford to the 39, first down, 19 yards. Elway trying to get his team up there to get one more playoff before the 2-minute timeout. 2:08, 2:07.
They've still got 2 timeouts left.
And they won't get another play before the warning, but some fancy dancing by Glenn Milburn. 2 minutes to go in the half. And that is a nice tie.
Thank you very much, Dick.
You must have had halves like this when Paul Brown,
yes,
the great Master Brown, come in at halftime. What would he say?
Actually, he would say very little. I mean, there is a certain embarrassment to being down 28-3. A head coach doesn't have to rub it in because out in public you just made very little effort to try to beat an opponent. So most coaches remain pretty quiet.
Elway has to dump it off incomplete to Milburn. He could see that even had Milburn caught it, he had no place to go.
Just nothing downfield. The Raiders are just having their way with the Denver Broncos again. He's over 35,000 yards. Nice numbers, but he prefers the wins.
Just recently passed Jim Hart to move into the number 6 spot, and he needs a touchdown pass today to break the tie with a great name in NFL history as we celebrate the 75 years slinging Sammy Ball. He's tied with Sammy Ball, number 26 in touchdowns. Certainly use one before the half ends. Looking long and going long into a crowd, and Anthony Miller had no chance. The Raiders had him well boxed in. A flag down back near the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, there was double coverage on Anthony Miller, so why throw it to him? Holding defense, maybe that's why he threw it to him.
1:48 left and 2 timeouts remaining for Denver. That'll be a 5-yard penalty and a first down.
Holding, number 29 defense, 5 yards, automatic first down.
Why not? You're up 28-3. Make sure that there's not some young speedster that gets by you.
Mike Pritchard to the right, the former Colorado star who leads the Broncos with 14 catches, but shut out in the half today. Miller to the left. Elway over the middle. Oh my. Right through the hands of Derek Russell. Perfect throw. That could have been about a 20-25 yard gain.
Yeah, Mike Jones, linebacker, the man in coverage. And Dick, when you have games like this, you always drop passes like this. I mean, it just feeds on itself. It's a mushroom cloud around your football team. As a player, you feel like, I didn't practice this week. I don't know what we're doing. I don't remember the game plan. Who are these guys and what am I doing here?
5 for 18 for Mr. Elway and 65 yards. Over the middle, Miller. And a first down at the 40, wrapped up by Lionel Washington. 134-133, 15 on the play, first down.
Still 2 timeouts. Good protection that time for John Elway. Had a chance to look all over the football field before he got it to Miller.
Wide open again. This time it's Tillman. Cedric Tillman inside the 30. Another first down.
Now he'll go to the line of scrimmage and just down the ball to stop the clock. Save those timeouts.
Although he's got his team pretty much in order here. May not have to with 104. No, he's calling the play. Underneath to Milburn. Another good effort, but tripped up and down at the 24 now. He'll have to stop the clock with a timeout. He has 1 left. 50 seconds remain. 28-3 lead. They scored the first 4 times they had the ball. The Raiders scored 4 touchdowns. The Broncos, meanwhile, have been very silent. The Broncos trying to get them screwed up, get a score before the intermission. 2nd and 6. Oh, wide open was Miller, but short hopped at the 12-yard line.
Blitz by the Los Angeles Raiders, and it required the Denver Broncos to keep the 2 backs in. They had to help here because they got people coming up inside, so Elway's got to go outside. They did do a good job of picking it up, but one of those guys should be out in the pattern. You don't need Milburn and Tillman both blocking.
Well done. 3rd down and 6. Elway pointing out Eddie Anderson creeping up. And the blitz is on. Milburn picks him up. No! Anderson took it right out of his hands. And then Milburn has it. 35, 20, and out of bounds at the 10. You saw the flag down. And it could be holding. It is. But quite an ad-lib effort by Glenn Milburn, who's shown some signs of good, flashy runs.
But they asked Glenn Milburn to pass protect for John Elway against Eddie Anderson. That's a much bigger defensive back, and Eddie Anderson ran right over him.
And it's interesting, Elway pointed right at Anderson and was telling Milburn he's coming.
Number 22, offense, 10 yards, repeat 3rd down.
Well, Milburn totally involved in that play.
Here's Milburn trying to block Anderson. The collision's going to take place, and Anderson wins this collision, goes right through him, and there you also see him holding. And the ball is stripped away. Milburn gets it back. That was a mess, is what that was.
Now that takes the ball out to the 35 with 36 seconds left, and 3rd down and 16 facing Elway. Raiders only bring 4 men on the charge. Elway going deep, no one there except Hoskins, and he almost had the interception. Tillman double covered. Lionel Washington and Hoskins were on the receiver. Shannon Sharp was the open man deep in the far corner.
Yeah, that time Broncos brought Reggie Rivers in as a running back to help with the protection, and Eddie Anderson dropped back in coverage. And again, John Elway threw into double coverage. I saw Shannon Sharp over there too, but I think John has said Shannon is not a prospect today.
Well, on 4th down and 16. Too long for the field goal, so Elway, 30 seconds left, hopes to pick up a big play. Whoops. And number 75, Brian Habib, pulling away from his stance. And flags all over.
Look at the heads down. Look at the Broncos. Hands on hips, heads down. Just very little is going right in this half.
Before the snap, 75 offense. 5 yards, still 4th down.
What else can go wrong?
Brian Habib, who played at Washington for a while. Kevin Gogan, his teammate. Gogan, his counterpart with the Raiders. We expected both teams to be near 100 yards in penalties. That's just the tradition of these teams in this rivalry. So 21 needed for a first down. Elway going long. Almost intercepted. Mike Pritchard, the intended receiver, well covered. Terry McDaniel, the Pro Bowler had him blanketed, and the Raiders take over on downs with 22 seconds left in the half, and the boos continue to grow.
Dick, I was going to make the comment, when you have a team play like this at home, 0-2, the accusation of the team is it's not prepared. So I'm sure Wade Phillips is going to have to face that your team looked ill-prepared.
Wake up, T-Mac! Wake up, baby!
We know that's not. I was going to follow it up. We know that's not true. I mean, they're prepared for the Los Angeles Raiders, but they came out here like the lights went out sometime this morning.
Well, you met a team that knew their season might be over as well. 0-3. Hostetler not going to take any chance. Ooh, his back. Montgomery slips and falls on that dirt infield, and almost a miscue on the exchange. There was a bobble, and that probably the last play of the half. And the fans escort the Broncos off the field.
That there'd have to be some turnovers, but neither team has turned the ball over. The Los Angeles Raiders have absolutely dominated. They've run the ball. They ran the ball well in the first quarter, set the tone for the entire first half. The Broncos have not done anything to speak of in this first half.
And wouldn't you think that's just what Art Shell is telling the Raiders at halftime? Hey, we got a big lead now. Let's not get too fancy and make a mistake and let them get back into the game.
Yeah, that's the only way the Broncos can get back in this game, is if the Raiders help. You're absolutely right. Now, if they wanted the running game, this is a perfect opportunity to really exploit that running game. Early stages of this third quarter.
No indication his team would play this way. They had a good week of preparation, but he said that his team thought the Raiders looked so bad they underestimated. They did not expect the Raiders to look this good. So he said in the second half what they're going to try to do is run a lot of no huddle. He senses that the Raiders defense is getting tired, and he hopes to wear them down. Dick?
Thanks, Anna. And the Raiders get the ball first as Jason Elam approaches. Harvey Williams and Rocket Ismail are deep, and it's Ismail that'll take the touchback. Good long kickoff by Elam. Well, the two quarterbacks, Jeff Hostetler, who's had to swipe away rumors that his arm, his elbow hurting him. Oh, no indication the first half. 10 out of 15. 190 yards, 3 touchdowns, and no interceptions. And Elway just 33% completions. Hostetler now against the Denver Broncos in 3.5 games has 11 touchdowns, 0 interceptions.
That's amazing. Of course, last week Haas had 3 interceptions. Look at how the Raiders started. That cures any ills that you have, those 4 straight drives for touchdowns.
And Hostetler the key. Comes out throwing. And has a man wide open, Tim Brown. Knocked down by Rondell Jones after a gain of 25.
Dick, you just said the operative connected phrase there, wide open. In the first half, did we see receivers wide open? Total zone by the Denver Broncos. Linebackers up, a nice little gap there on top of the linebackers underneath the defensive backs. Easy completion for Jeff Hostetler.
3 today for Brown to give him 14 for the year to lead the Raiders, as he did last year when he set a Raider record, catching 80. Worth many millions to him. In fact, he almost became a Denver Bronco, remember, as they made a solid offer. On the ground, Ty Montgomery fumbled, and the Broncos recover. And it's returnable. Ray Crockett down the sidelines at the 30. And tied ropes out of bounds. Are they going to say down by contact or not? No indication. So it'll be Denver. First and goal, just as the doctor ordered. 44-yard return by former Lion Ray Crockett.
Watch 27. Atwater strips the ball loose. Ball on the ground. Crockett picks it up. Well, as nicely as the first half started for the Los Angeles Raiders, this, of course, gives the Denver Broncos a little bit of life. Atwater from the left strips the ball right away. He was on the ground, and there was contact foot to foot, but he does get up. This is when you're down 28-3. Nice tightrope. Gets it down inside the 10-yard line. First and goal to start the second half.
Alexander Wright was right there. Could have touched him down, but apparently didn't see the ball had been fumbled. First and goal at the 9. Russell outside. And out of bounds at the 5, maybe the 4-yard line. Lionel Washington one-on-one with the tackle. And Steve Atwater, the one defender who made some hits that first half with that crushing tackle to force the fumble.
And you don't think he was just looking to strip that ball away?
Yeah, it's always costly, the turnovers. And for the Raiders, 4 touchdowns and a field goal out of 6 turnovers.
This stadium has been very kind to the Denver Broncos. They've won some strange football games in some strange ways.
Clark and Russell, 2 big backs. It's Russell up the middle at the goal line. No, they marked it right on the 1-foot line. Leonard Russell, who has 2 touchdowns rushing in the first 2 games.
Now this is what Leonard Russell does best. Straight ahead, lowers the shoulder, good, strong runner. Winston Moss, 99 assists on the tackle. And you see the helmet come loose from Leonard Russell. Not much for a score.
65.
3rd down. Number 76 is an eligible receiver, Kip Scrappard, but climbing into the end zone is Russell. Steve Atwater forces the fumble. The Broncos convert after Crockett returned it 44 yards to the 9. Will that get Denver back in the game?
Looks like they're lining up for 2, Dick. Again, you see the good blocking up front. Clark, 43, a good lead block. 64, Melander, the guard, a good lead block. First Denver touchdown of the day.
Russell got the call on all 3 plays from the 9 to score his 3rd touchdown. They go for the 2. Russell behind Elway. And they run it. And it's Russell tackled shy of the goal line. A good hit by Anthony Smith. Anthony Smith denies the 2, but Steve Atwater's play produces 6 Bronco points. It's 28-9. Broncos convert the turnover into 6 points, and now it's Elam. His kick comes down to Harvey Williams at the 20. 25. And across the 30 with a flag down.
Number 87 receiving team during the return. 10 yards, 1st down.
Tight end Glover. Leonard Russell, a free agent that was being sought heavily not only by the Broncos but by the Raiders.
Yeah. In fact, the Raiders tried to find him. He just happened to take a flight to Denver. Denver was playing San Francisco in the exhibition season. Denver said, why don't you stay with us? The Raiders could not get a hold of the guy. He signs a contract with the Denver Broncos.
Like the old AFL NFL days.
Hit him away.
Hostetler batted in the air and complete. And suddenly, this defense revived. Richard Harvey.
Now, Dick, I do not understand this. When Art Shell told us last night he wants to exploit the running game, this is a perfect opportunity. There's Charlie Waters. And at the top of the screen, you're going to see the hand get up. The outside man, the hand get up and knock the ball up. Why aren't they running it?
Richard Harvey acquired as a free agent from the Bills. 2nd and 10. Throwing again. In a crowd, and short gain is smothered as Montgomery. Ben Smith from a corner and Elijah Alexander.
I see, Dick, the running game right here takes the steam back out of the Denver Broncos. Art Shell on the sideline. That's now 3 passes and 1 run to start the 2nd half. Yes, the run produced a fumble, but at the same time, if you want to recapture control of this football game, you first recapture the line of scrimmage.
The other thing the passing game does to the team 25 points behind is those incompletes lengthen the game.
Yeah, stops the clock. You're right.
3rd down. Down he goes, and listen to this crowd as Mecklenburg, the veteran, has the sack.
The old veteran, the inside move, straight to Hostetler, was not supposed to be playing for the Denver Broncos this year, was going to get along with his life, find his life's work. They bring him back, and he makes a big sack.
So 2 possessions for the Raiders, a turnover and 3 and out as Gossett, as they try to block it, and the flag goes down. Running into the kicker, Milburn out of bounds at the 48-yard line in Denver territory.
That won't be enough for a first down, though. That's just a 5-yard penalty. It'll still be 4th down.
Gossett, whether injured or acting it out. And it was 4th down and 11 on the punt. If it's running into, it's a 5-yard penalty. If they deem it a personal foul, it's an automatic first down.
Gossett's doing a little acting. There is contact. There's no question about that. But it's slight contact that's running into the kicker. It should not be the major penalty. And that's a rule change from the NFL 2 years ago. And look, I'd go after it again if I'm Denver. No first down here.
Gossett limping toward the sideline.
Running into the kicker. 5-yard penalty. Number 23. Let's repeat 4th down.
Ronnie Bradford. That'll quiet the crowd a bit.
Sure.
They thought the first down was going to go with the penalty.
And now watch how quickly Gossett's leg gets better as he runs back out on the field. He's a quick recoverer, isn't he?
He was limp. It's not far from El Segundo into Hollywood, you know. I mean, it doesn't take long to get lessons.
It's an audition. It's an audition.
They're coming again. Beautiful spiral. Milburn lets it go out. Oh, doesn't go out of bounds. Immediately bounces out inside the 20, 18-yard line. So they would have had it at the 48, a 30-yard difference because of the 5-yard penalty. Come back, you're looking at Shannon Sharp, the top receiver for the Broncos last year with 81 catches, but injured, did not have a reception in the opening half. We'll see how much he is used in the second half. He would be the possible 3rd or 4th wide out, although listed as a tight end. Away from inside his 18. Goes to Russell. And Russell, fumbles the ball, and the Raiders have it. And trying to go to the end zone is Terry McDaniel. Out on the 14-yard line. Albert Lewis was the man that ripped the ball away from Russell as Russell was going for the extra yardage.
And Russell last year for the New England Patriots, 15 fumbles. But this one,
in the 3 years,
in the 3 years he was there. But look, Albert Lewis just pulls that ball away from him. Again, Leonard Russell, in the 3 years he played with the New England Patriots, 15 fumbles. But the old veteran Albert Lewis pulls the ball away, and suddenly the steam of the Denver Broncos has escaped again.
Hostetler sets up at the 14-yard line. To Tim Brown. Knocked out of bounds by Ben Smith. And Brown throws the ball at Smith. No flag.
Incidental contact. No harm, no foul.
Gain to the inside the 7-yard line.
There's Albert Lewis.
How many times has he made the big play? Turnovers, interceptions, forced fumbles, blocked punts. Maybe one of the best ever in the NFL at that.
I'm still not used to him in a silver helmet, though.
I don't think he is either. Inside by wrapped up is Harvey Williams by Steve Atwater, and the smiling assassin Atwater applying some mean hits.
That looked like Carl Mecklenburg, too, was in there. Well, you're going to see him again. It's great timing as they come in here. Just as the play develops, they get there both about at the same time. Atwater gets hit, but fights through the block. He and Mecklenburg. Atwater is the one who does make the tackle, but both were right there.
Steve Atwater, 4 consecutive years of Pro Bowl. A loss of 3. 3rd down and a long 6 for the Haas. Gets out of trouble for a moment. Throws. Darrell Hobbs was out of the end zone. Hostetler slow getting up as Alexander and Shane Gronett were applying pressure. 4th down and the field goal unit on. And for The Bronco defense certainly booed lustily in the first half with 4 straight possessions, 4 touchdowns for the Raiders. They've shown 3 good stops here in the second half.
Yes, they have. And the Raiders get the ball at their own 14 or at the Denver 14-yard line and hold them. This field goal is a little positive thing for the Bronco defense.
28-yarder for Jager, and he's got it. Jeff Jager gets 3 back. A flag is down. We'll check the penalty. It was out to the 10-yard line, so this is against the Broncos. It would be not enough for first down on a 5-yard penalty, but if a personal foul could be an automatic first down.
Illegal use of hands. Number 90 on the defense, a jam to the face. That is half the distance. Automatic first down.
Automatic first down, Dan Williams. So instead of 3, Archell says, hey, we'll go for the whole bundle now.
Absolutely.
Oh, my. So the penalty will be marked down to around the 5.
See if we can pick up what happens. There's 90 right there, and he's got his hand right up in the face mask, right underneath the face mask, and they call that penalty on pass rushers. They also call it on field goals. You see the umpire throw the flag. Not very smart for Dan Williams.
So 4 more shots for the Raiders, leading 28-9 from the Bronco 5.
And where's the running game?
They've run twice in the second half, 6 passes. And another into the flat. Harvey Williams spins away, touchdown. Jeff Hostetler has his 4th touchdown pass of the game. Leonard Russell's fumble. The Broncos defense makes the stop, but on the field goal try, the penalty. Another chance for the Raiders, and Harvey Williams will take that touchdown ball home with him.
Now the penalty on Williams produced the second chance for the Los Angeles Raiders, and there with the second half momentum for the Denver Broncos. Williams' second score of the day, his first 2 as a Los Angeles Raider. Nifty move by Harvey Williams, avoiding the linebacker Elijah Alexander out there.
Jager's extra point, and the Raiders lead 35-9. Right by 25 was 20 seasons ago.
20.
The Raiders.
The Raiders.
By 25.
The Oakland Raiders wearing these uniforms.
That's right. Right down the middle to the rookie, Barnote. Barnote finds an opening. Kicks free, looking for a block. Fumbles and recovers his fumble at the 40-yard line. Stripped from behind. A good effort nevertheless. Let's go to NFL Live in New York.
All right, Dick, and in Seattle at Husky Stadium, take a look. Denver fans will recognize this. Rick Meyer rushed and throws the pick by Stanley Richard. He did the same thing to John Elway in week number 1, 73 yards, and the touchdown, 17-3. San Diego in the lead over the Seahawks in the 3rd quarter. Dick and Bob?
Thank you, Greg. Stanley Richard went 99 yards here at Mile High Stadium, and had come back by the Chargers 37-34 in the opener.
Chargers are for real, huh?
We'll see them next week at the Coliseum against the Raiders. From the 40, complete to Milburn, who steps out of bounds shy of the first down. A 9-yard gain to the 49. Winston Moss on the coverage.
Now we're going to see the Broncos, as Hannah Storm told us at halftime, that Wade Phillips was going to explore the hurry-up offense at 35-9. I'm not sure you do that. I mean, you're going to put your quarterback in enough jeopardy. I don't think you want him throwing the ball 45 or 50 times in his second half.
They may be hoping for the altitude to help against the Raiders.
Maybe. Blitz.
Milburn just wrestled down rudely. Moss and McLaughlin, no gain.
I'm telling you, this McLaughlin kid, he's off the scale when it comes to strength. Doesn't like to lift weights, but for natural strength, this guy he's scary.
He's 6'4", 310, and in high school back in Whiteville, North Carolina, had 20 interceptions and 20 touchdown passes. He was the team.
He does the rest, right?
and went on to Clemson, followed the Perry boys, William and Michael Dean. Third down, and Russell able to get the first down on a bruising 6-yard effort. Eddie Anderson with the tackle at the Raider 46.
A nice block by the rookie Derek Clark right in front of him. Good lead block for Leonard Russell. There's Mr. Clark.
Barry Clark, who enrolled as a freshman at Florida State, then went to Evangelos, student population of 1,800.
Yeah, what did he say they got at homecoming? 7,500 people?
Yeah.
That was a big crowd. They were the Crusaders.
That's what the entire Denver Bronco team is on right now. A crusade to get back in it. As Elway looking for Miller. Knocked away at the goal line, and it's going to go against the Raiders.
I'm not sure.
My, they were both pushing, and Lionel Washington gets the flag.
This stages of 1994, all of the flags have been going against the defenders. The receivers are really taking advantage of it. Now, Lionel Washington, he can't lose his cool here. Walk away from the field judge and just let it happen.
You can see Miller using
Pass interference. Number 48 defense. Automatic first down.
42-yard penalty. But as we watch it again, Miller was using his free arm to push off all the way down. Now watch him use the right arm.
He's outside of Washington. There's the right arm. That's what you're talking about. Washington puts his... See, the official sees when Miller turns around. He sees Washington's arm go in front of Miller. Flag is thrown.
First and goal at the 4. Denver needs all the breaks they can get. It's Russell. Touchdown!
Well, how big is that fumble he had?
So Russell taketh and giveth.
Yes.
2 touchdowns from 1 and 4 yards, but a fumble that set up a Raider counter touchdown. As Lionel Washington, and you can appreciate why he is upset. That's a tough call.
But initial stages of this season, Dick, all those calls have gone that way.
Yeah, it's not like they're picking on him or the Raiders. All defensive backs, so the new rule interpretations, they're not allowing any touches by those DBs.
Again, good blocking up front. Nice movement by the offensive line of the Denver Broncos. And Russell has a good head of steam as he reaches the goal line to score easily.
The Broncos, with still midway in the third quarter, pulled within 35-16. 7:39 left in the third quarter. The Broncos trail 35-16, and down to Rocket Ismail. And he's to the 23-yard line.
Whoa, that's taking a chance right there, leading as much as they're leading. Stay in the end zone.
Down on the sidelines, now a smile or two breaking out. And Floyd Little, the all-time Bronco rusher, number 44, from Syracuse.
Man, could he get you back in a football game in a hurry, Dick. He'd run over you, around you. He'd run through you. Tireless worker for the Denver Broncos.
Rushed for over 6,300 yards. Has more rushing touchdowns than anyone in Bronco history with 43. And he's on their Ring of Fame. Get a moment, we'll get a chance to hear from the great Bronco star. Hostetler. The receiver not looking. It was James Jett. And the storm is with Floyd Little.
Well, Floyd, Dick, and Bob are ready to have you suit up and get in this game for the Broncos.
I wish that I could. I'll tell you what, I'll do anything to be able to play against the Raiders.
Are you surprised the kind of effort they came out with today?
Well, this is a Raider-Denver game. I mean, you have to play with intensity. All week, you have to play with intensity. The first half, the Broncos didn't have it. They didn't have any intensity, no sense of urgency, and they got their butts beaten the first half. But they're playing good the second half.
What are some of your fond memories of this series?
Well, when you beat the Raiders, your season was over. This was our greatest rivalry, and we look forward to playing the Raiders every year. And I would expect with our alumni weekend that our Broncos would have come out and just blew them out in the first half, and that didn't happen. So now they got their works cut out for them in the second half.
Too bad your number 44s are tired. You could go in and suit up.
I wish I could still play.
All right, let's send it back up to Dick and Bob.
Oh, he was a delight to watch. Floyd Little, he's a Denver hero.
Yeah, I often thought that if his legs were straight, he could play for the Nuggets during the winter. These are the bow-legged guys you'll ever meet.
Tyrone Montgomery took the call on first down, gain 2. Dan Williams made the tackle. 2nd and 8. Oh, 3rd down and 8. Hostetler, a good scrambler, throws complete. Tim Brown. And he's down at the 47-yard line. Hostetler so good at running right to the line of scrimmage and delivering the ball, keeping those linebackers thinking, hey, I've got to come up and make the tackle on the run.
That's exactly the way they scored the first touchdown. He avoids the pass rush, keeps looking downfield. A lot of quarterbacks, they choose to run. He's always looking for the receiver there. And Tim Brown, again, excellent move, slips a little bit, but a big first down, a big 3rd down conversion for the Los Angeles Raiders.
And Brown now with 5 catches. He's over the 100-yard mark and the touchdown at the 47. Up on top, looking for that speed, and no flag as Ray Crockett trying to corral Alexander Wright. And Hostetler saying just that. Wait a minute. Where's the call on this side of the field? Like my man Lionel Washington.
Yeah, make it even. Quarterbacks do a lot of lobbying, but I think Hostetler is absolutely right. If you're going to call it on my guy, Lionel Washington, 48, call it on their guy, 39, Crockett. There was contact.
Now, Hostetler's a feisty man, academic All-America, but he's full of the fire. In fact, was recruited by Joe Paterno as a linebacker at Penn State. Too much time. And caught at the 32-yard line. Another first down. It's Brown again coming back to meet the ball. 15 yards. Crockett the tackler.
You mentioned Hostetler's toughness. He said he didn't go to Penn State because he had 2 older brothers who went to Penn State, both as quarterbacks, and they came out of Penn State as linebackers.
So he spent 1 year there and then went to West Virginia.
West Virginia to play quarterback. Married the coach's daughter.
Don Nealon.
Yep. He lifts weights with the offensive lineman. He is a tough guy.
So here in the second half, when you thought run, Bob Trumpy, they've run only 3 times.
That's amazing.
Past 10.
That's amazing.
Lackman, no gain. Carl Mecklenburg filling the hole, a veteran from Minnesota. So only the 4th run of the second half. You look at the good balance in the first half, 17 rushes. They only ran the ball 9 times the entire game last week against Seattle.
That blows my mind, because if you want to fix this team, you fix the running game. You're not going to get breaks like the Raiders have gotten every weekend, but if you can create some confidence in the running game, you can help this team. They're not doing it here.
They had all been on the line of scrimmage, and they were offside. The Broncos. Harvey bats the ball down, but again, someone leaned into the neutral zone for Denver. Meanwhile, San Diego's Chargers lead 24-3 with a long 99-yard pass, Stan Humphries to Tony Martin in Seattle at Husky Stadium. Has to tie the record.
Has to tie the record. Held by several.
Neutral zone violation, number 90, defense. The defensive movement caused the offense to move.
Dan Williams with another error.
Defense, 5 yards, still second down.
Now, last year, the defensive lineman would move like that. The offensive tackle would react, and it would be called illegal procedure. But they've changed that to give the offensive lineman a break.
Now he comes out of the ball game.
He was the one on the field goal that committed the foul and took a 3-pointer into a 7-pointer.
Not been a good day for a lot of these Broncos, not just Dan Williams.
Second down and 5. This is Montgomery with no room out there, and a loss of 6 as Simon Fletcher able to down him. Also there was Elijah Alexander.
Dick, that's that same sweep that in the first half the Los Angeles Raiders had featured as, you'll see this in the grid from the first half. This is the play that they scored on, and this is the same sweep. Now watch what happens. This is the little swing pass. They get it out to Harvey Williams. You saw the pick play run. Harvey Williams with a nice move, and they get it in the end zone.
That was the touchdown the Raiders scored after the fumble by Russell and the penalty by Williams. Hostetler, the quick throw to the tight end Glover, shy of the first down at the 24. Alexander made another tackle, and that will bring up 4th down and short.
Decision for Art Shell. What do you do here?
25-16, and here comes the field goal unit. Now, for the Broncos, should Jaeger miss, and he's excellent from long range with the new rules, they would get excellent field position. The kick will be from around the 33, and if he misses, that's the spot. No, it's going to be the 32, a 42-yard attempt. He was 1 for 3 coming into this game, but this one is online. 42 yards, 3 more for the Raiders, who move up 38-16. Jaeger's 42-yard field goal adds to the Raider lead. Almost 3 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Jaeger has to run from grass and then onto the dirt infield to kick off. He slipped last time and doesn't get much of a kick this time. It goes out of bounds and they'll get the ball all the way up on the 40-yard line. Flag down because of the kick out of bounds.
As a matter of fact, Tim Brown of Notre Dame had to wear a Michigan hat all week at practice to pay off a bet, because Michigan beat Notre Dame. Squeaked by George Perlis and Michigan State yesterday. Purdue next weekend.
Took just over a minute for the 2 touchdowns scored by Denver, then the fumble by Russell on the first play of the other possession. So Denver's able to strike quickly, and they got 2:52 left in the third. Elway to Pritchard, and the first down. Fumbles at the 45, and still a scramble, and the Raiders had about 6 men, and they finally fall on it. So Pritchard had the first down. It's ripped away. So it's this second half for Denver. Touchdown, fumble, touchdown, fumble.
It looked like Terry McDaniel, the man in coverage, also pulled the ball away. Now this is Pritchard trying to make a big play. Yeah, it's Terry McDaniel just strips it away, and then looks like there's about 14 Raiders that have a chance at the ball. Hoskins has a chance.
Finally, McDaniel said, if you guys aren't going to do it, I'll just get the double dip. Recovers the fumble that he had forced. So Pritchard makes his first catch of the day after having receptions worth 100 yards in each of the first 2 Denver games.
Oh, he wants to do well here, too. He dreamt about being a Denver Bronco. This is not what he envisioned.
Yeah, going to school nearby Boulder. He plows to the 47. From Denver, we go to Greg Gumbel in New York.
All right, Dick, and we go to Seattle. You remember week 1 when Stanley Richard went 99 yards? Stan Humphrey out of his end zone to Tony Martin. 99 yards. Cornerback Patrick Hunter will pull a hamstring right about here. 24-3. San Diego leads the Seahawks as they approach the fourth quarter. Dick and Bob?
Yeah, you can blow a gasket when you have to chase 99. Well, the Chargers certainly one of the major surprises of 94. The toss to Tim Brown is racking up some big reception numbers. Ball loose, but after he was down at the 36-yard line.
You know, Dick, we had heard a rumor that people inside the organization had wanted Tim Brown more involved in the game plan. Get him the ball more. Matter of fact, there was even a situation where when the other players on the team heard that, they all went out to practice wearing number 81.
The other receivers.
But leading 38-16, this is nice. But I'm still, for the long run, you got to put some confidence in your running game, and this is a perfect spot for it.
7 catches for Brown, 136 yards and a touchdown. Right into the orange jersey of Richard Harvey. Harvey, a non-starter, has come on to make some good plays here in the second half.
One too many hesitations there by Harvey Williams.
Flag down in the Denver secondary. Block below chop block is the signal against Los Angeles. The penalty yardage must be over 100 for the Raiders today.
Sure, if they play 4 quarters, that's a guarantee.
That's a big one all the way to the 50.
Personal foul, illegal crackback, number 82 on the offense, 15 yards, repeat first down.
James Jett. And the hats worn by the officials in the spirit of this throwback. It reminds me of one of the great referees, Growing up as a kid, did all the big games. Ron Gibbs used to be the man that got the call.
He's from my own town, Springfield, Illinois.
Right.
Ronnie Gibbs is, You're right, him and Jim Tunney after him was the next one. I like those.
I want one.
You do?
So why'd you get one of those? Hostetler on the screen to Rathman with lots of white jerseys in front, and Rathman to the 38-yard line. Tackled by Alexander. It'll be still another 12 for a first down on second down as the seconds tick away at the end of the third quarter.
Dick, I think it's fascinating to talk to Rathman about this football team. With all the success he had with San Francisco, he's preaching family to his teammates here with the Los Angeles Raiders.
Unity, unity. You hear it every other word from him. End of 3. Raiders in command. As you look at the score by quarters, Denver had the ball only 3 minutes and 14 seconds in that third quarter. Still got 13 points. But it's the Raiders in command from the opening bell.
Well,
Jeff Hostetler's had a
terrific day. So much for the bad elbow.
Montgomery is flanked out to the right. Appeared to be movement before the snap, and Montgomery gets the catch. And some more poor tackling, remindful of the first half Bronco defense.
And Dick, that's great offense because they flank Montgomery out there, and Elijah Alexander, a linebacker, goes out there with him. Alexander is playing 10 yards off. Montgomery catches the hitch, and then Elijah Alexander also misses the tackle. I mean, that's terrific offense if you can isolate a running back on a linebacker. Look how deep he is. Now watch the little move. I mean, you can't expect Alexander to make that play.
Well, first down at the 15 for the Raiders. Hostetler racking up some more passing yards. He's over 300. Montgomery stopped cold as Alexander and Keith Burns. Keith Burns into the game to make the stop. Rookie from Oklahoma State. Look at those numbers for the Hoss. He's galloping.
20 of 29 when last week they were accusing him of having a bad elbow. And look, if you protect him and you can run the ball, Hostetler can certainly make the completions.
Something about Denver, too, Bob.
Yes.
4 games against the Broncos. He's got 12 touchdowns, no intercepts. And hitting around 70%. Williams and Rathman on 2nd and 10 are behind Hostetler. And well covered was Alexander Wright.
I think as much as Jeff Hostetler likes to play the Denver Broncos are absolutely sick of the Los Angeles Raiders. They will, by the time this calendar 1994 ends, they will have played 5 times. And Wade Phillips has seen too much of a score like this.
Well, Art Shell, as it goes his way again today, will be 10-1 against Denver in his coaching tenure.
And, you know, I thought what Art said to us last night, I'll get it in a minute here.
And I bet you go back to his playing days, it's about 30 to
You're right.
They didn't beat the Raiders much in his heyday. Hostetler almost hits Williams. That was an ad-lib effort and a terrific throw.
Yeah, so much for the bad elbow.
Wow, what a throw that was, because he saw Williams running the sidelines and just rainbowed it. That's that goal line play. Just
he never gives up on the play, steps up, and it gets pressure from 99 Dronette, still throws it out there, and almost a completion. Nice play, Crockett, or it is a completion.
4th down and 9, and Jaeger from 33. Crockett's made a couple of those late dives with a broken left hand to deny touchdowns today. Jaeger is good. And the Raider lead 41-16. 4th quarter. Welcome to the capital city of Colorado. LA Raiders. And the Broncos' capital punishment. And it's Binote. Elway to Pritchard. And Pritchard, who fumbled on his last catch, is out to the 36-yard line and a first down. Well, the Broncos, unless a miracle develops, will be 0-3. And only 3 times in the 16-game schedule of the NFL have 3 teams rallied to get as far as the playoff: Jets, Buccaneers, and the Chargers. another 11-yard gain.
Yeah, and the Raiders also in the prevent mode. And that's not just personnel, that's also an attitude. Catch all you want, gentlemen. We're going to make the clock work to our favor. Just keep you in front of us. There's 2, 4, 6 defensive backs in the ball game. Elway can complete them all underneath.
The last one to Milburn. Now big hole up the middle and finds a soft spot to slide in the Rockies outfield at the 34. Be the last time you'll see this baseball alignment here, so you can take a good look at that as well. They'll go to Coors Field if there's baseball next year.
Don't say that.
Well,
don't say
I know,
that.
but I mean, let's hope that that's the case. But Coors Field will be completed. Elway. Nolan Harrison rips him down. The third sack by the Raiders today. He didn't have a second choice and gets up slowly.
Harrison really put him to the ground. You're looking at the Denver Broncos franchise. He is the franchise. There are some who believe that he lobbied to get Dan Reeves out of here. He likes Wade Phillips as a head coach. He's in business with the owner of this franchise.
Very successfully.
Very
auto
successful.
Dealerships that sold something like $150 million of cars last year.
I think he's the most secure quarterback in the NFL, even with Troy Aikman's $50 million contract.
2nd and 20. And no chance for Cedric Tillman, who was being hawked by young James Trapp, the Olympic sprinter from Clemson.
But in John Elway, you have one of those rare athletes who is also willing to take the responsibility when things go wrong. Son of a coach. Jack is associated with the Denver Broncos, has been for several years now. Told us that he knows a lot of the problems on this team are related to him. Willing to work hard to get them straightened out.
Could have won the first 2. It was his big mistakes that you can point to. Flag down. This is little Jeff Campbell, a former Lion who grew up in the ski country of Vail, Colorado, to make the catch. 12 yards in the play if. And some of the Knights of the Keyboard here in Denver feel that maybe Elway has too much power with the team. True on the talk shows as well.
Well,
they talk about it.
It's a balancing act. There's no question about that. Penalty is against Denver.
Well, that denies a sizable
Offside,
gain.
56 defense. 5 yards, repeat 3rd down.
Excuse me, is against Andre Bruce. Continuing to talk about John Elway, there was a time when this game was not fun to him. He tried calling his own plays when Dan Reeves was here. At least now it's fun. And if you can surround John Elway with good personnel, he'll win you the highest percentage of games.
Well, they've given him some new receivers that are certainly have great credentials. Throw underneath to Tillman, but that's going to be shy of the first down. Brings up 4th down. Derek Russell, check it, Derek Russell with a catch, and he comes up limping. Young man from Arkansas who had his best year last year, 44 catches, and no choice but to go for it on 4th down at the 31. It was 4th and 6.
Dick, I thought it was interesting that John Elway said, I'm still getting used to these receivers.
They pick up the blitz, but the throw is short. And the Raiders take over on downs. Anthony Miller, the intended receiver, but Elway had to throw off his back foot. The pressure was on. And with that incomplete pass, a lot of folks heading for home. In their losses of late, they've been right down to the wire. In fact, 7 of their last 8 regular season defeats by a field goal. 7 out of 8. And maybe this is just one of those where the numbers catch up with you and you take a real solid defeat.
This one will not feel like, nor will it look like, one of those last-minute losses. The Raiders took this game away on the opening drive of the game.
To show you how big that score is at Mile High Stadium, where Denver enjoys such a terrific home field advantage, great fans, only 6 times in the franchise history have they been beaten at home by more than 25, and 5 of those came in the 60s. They wear appropriately the uniform of the 60s today. You're right. You'll never see those again.
They burned the Sox back in the 60s.
Well, maybe that was the problem. They should have gotten that uniform. That was a different story.
Please, Dick.
Underneath to Rocket Ismail. See, the original colors weren't orange and blue. The original colors were mustard and brown. And then they wore those vertical socks. And wouldn't you like, as a collector, to have one of them?
No.
I would. They must be worth, for a collector, thousands of dollars.
No.
Jack Faulkner, when he was the coach in '62, burned them all.
Burned them all. They got the uniforms at half price. Do we wonder why, Dick? Do we wonder why mustard and brown were the colors of the Denver Broncos?
The reason they didn't wear the vertical stripes and go back to the 1960 team was no one could make them anymore. That's the story. They couldn't find a mill to make vertical stripes. Underneath and knocked away, incomplete. Intended for Glover, the tight end, and that'll bring up 4th down, and the Raiders still throwing the ball. Clock stops with 9:26 left.
You know, when you come in ranked about 42nd out of 28 teams running the ball, you'd think, hey, you know, we got a pup over there. We can establish some numbers today, but they keep throwing it.
Gossett only his 3rd punt of the game. All the kickers love to come here. 51-yard average. Roots this one deep. Milburn gets away from the first man, but the next wave smothered at the 10-yard line. 52 yards on the kick by Gossett. Timeout, 9:15 left. Told us that this is a big game, a game that can change the season's direction. Understanding that both teams were 0-2. 31-16 Raiders as Elway stays in. Throws intercepted by Terry McDaniel, and McDaniel has a touchdown. His 2nd in 2 weeks.
Another interception returned for a touchdown against John Elway. That's
3
now
for 3. 3, 1 in each game.
Well, the one thing, you can lose this game and be embarrassed, but you can't lose John Elway for this franchise. Either his confidence, his players, his fellow players' confidence in him. I'd get Hugh Millen warmed up quickly.
15 yards on the return by Terry McDaniel.
That ball was
2nd interception for a touchdown, but he had a fumble return last week against Seattle for a score.
Excuse me, Dick. That ball thrown behind the receiver.
And this has gone from defeat to humiliation with 9:08 left. 48-16 Raiders.
Now watch this throw. It is behind Campbell and allows McDaniel to make up the room. If he stretches out in front, and I think Campbell can make the reception.
Yeah, but boy, that's a good play by McDaniel. That's an all-pro interception.
It absolutely is. No question about it. He got the friendly bounce and took it in.
That's his 16th career interception. 2 for touchdowns. So the 2-time Pro Bowler McDaniel. Pride and joy of Saginaw, Michigan, and we'll see if we see Hugh Millen.
Yeah.
Hugh Millen, former Washington quarterback, University of Washington quarterback. He's been around with the Rams, Atlanta, New England, Dallas, Miami.
Dick, he's warming up in a hurry.
Well, the Broncos are going to get back in a hurry.
Well, but I mean, he's warming up to take over the next series.
Hager to Vinote at the goal line. And this young man that they think will become a very good defensive back and kick returner. He's a project, of course, a running back all through college with the return. Butler Binote, he's 5'9" and 190, and Elway stays on the sidelines, and Hugh Millen, the quarterback.
I think this is a very smart decision by the Denver Broncos because you need this kid, this man, and you also need the players' confidence in John Elway to remain intact, even though he's had a bad day. So now Millen comes in here and gets his share of snaps.
Played in 32 NFL games. You saw his numbers. Unrestricted free agent. Look at him heading for the refrigerator. Millen to the sidelines and complete. Yes. To Mike Pritchard. He was a 3rd-round pick for the Rams 8 seasons ago. Never really had a chance to be the #1 guy.
Yeah, when he was at the University of Washington, remember the arrangement that Don James had with him and another quarterback?
Steve Bloor, Chris Chandler, they're all there about that time.
They were alternating back and forth. They couldn't really decide on the starting quarterback. Kind of cost him a high position in the draft, but quality player, can throw the ball very well.
Very accurate as he is on that one. Out to Glenn Milburn, and a first down out of bounds at the Bronco 38-yard line. And his career statistics show that he's almost a 60% career passer.
But he just never really got over the hump, you know. Made that impression on the head coach that, you know, this is the guy that we can win with for the next 10 years. But this isn't a bad business now, being a backup quarterback in the NFL and moving from team to team to team. You do tend to get a bulge in your back pocket.
Oh, you can get
about your wallet.
I see. As you get traded, the numbers go up.
Yep, they do.
This one intended for Russell, short, and batted down by Nolan Harrison. Harrison's had a good game for the Raiders today, and that's Brian Habib down on the play. And that's something else. When you really take a beating, sooner or later, some players seem to get injured.
Yep.
Somehow, when you're winning big, you don't seem to get hurt as often.
And you also feel it longer. I think Brian is, as Harrison goes up, watch the left foot.
Yeah,
at 74.
So while protected, that's for the moment doesn't feel very good. Well, tough to even chuckle if you're a Denver fan, but that's the kind of fun he's having, selling autos here. Tillman with a catch, and that'll be a first down at the 49.
They hope John Elway will be back. Without him, they're a long way from being a championship football team.
And it doesn't get any easier next week, Monday night at Buffalo.
And that this is as poorly as I've seen John Elway play in a lot of years. And these three, he's now got 4 interceptions, 3 returned for touchdowns. They are big things to John Elway.
Milburn, the intended receiver. But there's not a great one in Canton that didn't have a day like this.
Well, but at the same time, I think part of John Elway's reputation was built on these games where he's displayed the ability to bring his team back in the fourth quarter. Well, in the first 2 games, suddenly that has changed. So there's a perception change of John Elway that he doesn't like at all.
And 2nd and 10, Millen. And not having seen much duty with the Broncos, a lot of timing involved, especially when the Raiders bring the extra man.
Yeah, that was a blitz, and I don't think Rod Milburn read it correctly. And Millen was throwing it away, but Milburn was not even looking back at the quarterback.
How bad would this loss be if it stays 48-16? You've got to go back into the season of 1968 at home when the Raiders won 43-7 here to find Denver beaten so solidly. That's 196 games ago. It's going to be intercepted. No, 2 Raiders had a chance. Albert Lewis and Eddie Anderson.
Now, the Raiders are difficult to play even when they're 0-2, but when they play the Broncos, you can just see the psychological edge they have. Opening drive of the game. Raiders run right up the gut.
That's the old fox playing the chickens, and where's the field?
Yeah.
In the coop. We get to play in the coop again.
Art Shell last night telling us that because of this 0-2 start, he second-guessed everything he did as a head coach in preparation for the season. He says, you second-guess everything. We worked them too much. We worked them too little. They had too much practice time. Not enough practice time.
4th down and 10. Millen underneath, and Pritchard tackled a yard shy of a first down, and the Raiders will take over on downs at their own 42-yard line. Timeout. 7:24 remaining. That was one of the big question marks coming into this game, the health of Jeff Hostetler, and he has answered boldly with a solid game plus. 21 for 33. Well over 300, 4 touchdowns. That's the bold print tomorrow when they summarize the NFL play of today.
Yeah, what elbow.
Now it's Vince Evans at the 43, takes over. And Harvey Williams picks up about 4 up the middle. Evans, the second oldest player in the NFL and the oldest quarterback at 39. Jackie Slater for the Rams, a touch older. He's hit the 4-0 mark. Great tackle.
I think Vince Evans wore this uniform when it was new. Now he's wearing it when it's old.
Didn't even have to order it.
That's
He
right.
had that one in his closet.
Took it off his wall.
Says, which one you want, Al? I'll save you some money.
Sure.
Oh, by the way, we got Al Davis from the... these are the 63 uniforms, which is the first year Al Davis was the coach and general manager of the Raiders. He came up from San Diego, where he was an assistant under Sid Gilman. Much there on the handoff. The first 4 possessions, 4 touchdowns, and Broncos a first half of dismay.
Yes, total dismay.
Evans on 3rd down and almost intercepted.
Throw the ball. By the way, while we have a moment too, I want to give my best wishes to Napoleon McCallum after that injury. Certainly hope he recovers as fully as he possibly can. Knapp is one of those quality individuals.
Oh, is he?
And as an ex-football player, you always, when you see an injury like that, wish and hope the best for the athlete. And Knapp is a wonderful guy to him and his family.
Season's over, but even if there's no more NFL for him, he'll have a quality life.
He'll do fine, won't he?
Gossett with another boomer, and that one into the end zone, and the Broncos take it at the 20. And more bad news in a way for Wade Phillips, because it's going to be called and recounted and sports talk and in the papers while he goes 0-3. The man he replaced, Dan Reeves, goes 3-0. The Giants have beaten Washington 31-23. That's a final. Some other late scores also, as Miami defeats the Jets to go 3-0, and Minnesota a convincing win at Soldier Field, Chicago, and that sets up a Chicago doubleheader. With us on the Peacock there in the Windy City. This is the rookie, and Derek Clark rumbles out of bounds, and with 5:34 to go, ball at the 29-yard line. Penalty against the Raiders.
Men on defense. Penalty declined. 2nd down.
I'll take the play at the 29-yard line. Well, in the spirit of this 75th season and the 1965 season, the Broncos and Raiders. There's the program. It was fun leafing through there.
Yeah, it was.
You know, the one thing that inflation hasn't hit much is television. The cost of television. Out of bounds at the 40-yard line. That an 11-inch was being advertised in that program. 11-inch set for only $230.
Is that right?
The time changes on all of us. Yes. You, Bob Trumpy, and even Al Davis. He was the coach and general manager in '65, and Al today, the Oakland Raiders to the Los Angeles Raiders.
Yeah, what surprised me about that Game Day magazine was Willie Brown, the Raiders Hall of Fame defensive back, was on the Denver Broncos roster.
Penalty flag goes down as there was encroachment. Another final, the 49ers, no surprise, over the Rams, 34-13.
How about Deion Sanders? See his name anywhere there?
Now that, well, we got Al Davis in the press box. That makes, I think now by count, 58 consecutive games on NBC that we've shown Al Davis at least once in the press box. So that's another NFL string alive.
Before the snap, 81 offense.
And you can tell when he's happy because he keeps his hands together. That's one way you can tell. Oh, at the 35-yard line. Okay, enough.
Remember, we go there next week now.
Well, that's right. And we're keeping the consecutive string alive. 4:56 to go. To Anthony Miller, out of bounds, and that will stop the clock at the 46-yard line as we're in the final 5 minutes. Miller, who was wide open early and has tremendous speed. And the Broncos made the big offer as a free agent, and that came only after they were denied Tim Brown. They went for Brown first, and the Raiders matched the Tim Brown offer, but the Chargers did not. So Miller here in the Mile High City.
He's not played very well against the Los Angeles Raiders in previous.
This is Milburn squeaking through a hole. And then the Stanford man alertly gets out of bounds at the 41-yard line, and a first down stops the clock.
As I was saying about Anthony Miller, he's not played very well against the Raiders in previous seasons with San Diego. Today, just 2 catches for 26 yards for Anthony Miller.
Meanwhile, his former teammates go 3-0. Bobby Ross's Chargers win at Seattle.
Big plays in there, huh? The interception return, 99-yard touchdown.
And Humphreys, a 99-yard touchdown throw. Milburn again. This time he goes inside to the 28 and another first down, and the clock runs at 4:30.
Tackled by Greg Biekert, a young man who played college football at Colorado.
And he was the man who, I guess, the reports we've heard is a one-punch knockout of Scott Davis. And we hear now that Davis is going to return the defensive end tomorrow to the Raiders.
Yeah, but apparently there is some conversation amongst the Raiders that, wait a minute, he's left us twice before. Why are we bringing him back here the 3rd time?
Davis, who received $1 million bonus to return after a 2-year hiatus. Oh, Anderson. That blitz by the safety Anderson has been effective all day.
Yeah, but now see, that adds to the anger between anybody that plays the Raiders and the Raiders. Here it is, 48-16, 3:54 to go. They're just driving the ball down the field. Let's come with a safety blitz. Eddie Anderson, 33, not picked up. Bang. Helmet on helmet. Now, why are you doing that? What are you coming with a safety? What do you want? Safety blitz? Come on.
2nd down and 18. That's the 4th Los Angeles sack. 2 for Anderson. He had only 3 in the first 2 games total. That intended for Jeff Campbell. Low and outside. 3:33 remaining. Albert Lewis, he says, I don't know if he's saying my head's okay. Last week at this time, he didn't know where his head was.
No fear. That's the Tom Rathman hat.
Boy, there's a fellow that just would have helped any team, Albert Lewis, huh? One of the superb cornerbacks, 6'2", 195, cover man. He had to buy the number 29 for Patrick Bates. Biekert on the blitz, and Millen throws it away, no penalty.
You know, in the case of Albert Lewis, he looks today the same as he did when he first came in the league. Long, lean, fluid, flexible, strong, great hand strength, great technique. He just has not changed.
And Art Shell, who doesn't say a lot, just said a pro's pro. That's all I can say. Ronnie Lott spent a little time with the Raiders. And then Albert Lewis among the active players with the 38 interceptions. We don't know if Eugene Robinson had one today up in Seattle. So 4th down and long. 18 for a first down. Great catch by Pritchard, but well short at the 24, and the Raiders take over on downs with 3:20 left.
Not that bad off, but all we... Wait a minute. Vince Evans just took a timeout. That ought to be at least a 20-yard penalty. They only had 10 men on the field. Well, Art Shell is now 10-1 against the Denver Broncos. 10-1.
And John Elway in his career is 6-15 against the Raiders. It's the worst start in a long time, as has been underlined for the Broncos since '68, 26 years ago when they started 0-2. And for the Raiders, it was their worst start in terms of being beaten up by the opponents since 1961, when they lost 55-0 and 44-0. And Tom Rathman was saying, I've never experienced anything like that until today. And this win should turn things around, especially emotionally in the camp of the Raiders.
Yeah, there should be no fights between players or coaches this week. Everyone should be happy with this victory.
November 10th, 1968, the Raiders beat Denver here 43-7. You have to go back that far for Mile High Stadium to see the home team smacked around the way the Raiders have done it to them today.
That's the offensive coordinator, Tom Walsh, in the background there with the dark jacket on. He's called a good game today. Got a lot of runs in there.
Good block.
Williams getting in bounds. Finally twisted down by Jeff Robinson, second-year man from Idaho. Takes us to the 2-minute timeout. 1:58 left in Denver. This is Seats Quest. So stay tuned. So Gossett with 10 men on the line of scrimmage gets it away. Milburn, and it kicks out of bounds inside the Bronco 20. They'll mark it at the 19-yard line. Cincinnati 0-3 start, as is the case with Arizona and Buddy Ryan shut out at Cleveland. Miami 3-0, Chargers 3-0, the Giants 3-0. The teams out of the gate, and of course Kansas City 2-0. With the Raider win today, here's a look at the AFC West. Some would argue the most contentious of the divisions. 5 teams that started the season looked to be tough to wade through this. And San Diego, if anything, you would have thought the bottom would have been on top, yes, and the top team on the bottom. But the experts are wrong so far. And Kansas City plays tonight at Atlanta. Milburn twisting for 1 or 2 yards.
And Dick, I think when you look at the Denver Broncos here, they thought they had problems just on the defensive side of the football, but this performance today, they got problems on both sides of the football. I mean, the way the offense of the Raiders went through the defense kind of took the any real hope that the offense had that maybe we can just grind it out, do a little bit here, do a little bit there, get this thing done. But Jim Fossil and Wade Phillips and John Elway got a lot of reassessing to do this week.
Melbourne on the run again, grabbed by Nolan Harrison, and that should be the last play of the game, as the Broncos indicating they had no intent of passing.